people. So how is it going? So how is the preparation going? I think we're meeting every weekend. That's what it is happening, right? During weekdays, you are preparing for your prelim specific subjects. That is what I have been told. Good afternoon, everyone out there. And I hope the spirit is still high and you're still working hard towards your goal. So I am hoping that. And in case there is some ups and downs which happens, just trust me, it's part and parcel. It happens with every aspirant. So if it is happening with you, if there are some days which you are not able to perform as per your expectation, that is absolutely no issues. It's absolutely normal. It is absolutely fine. You don't have to have any kind of guilt for the fact that one day you did not study, or maybe in a row you haven't studied for, let us say, 2 days or something like that, or you have not been able to concentrate in your studies. Absolutely no issues. It happens, because this preparation is not like graduation level preparation where 1 month dedicatedly you will study and you will sail through. This is a very long process. All that matters is that you should have confidence, you should have confidence in your own ability, and you should have trust in this process of preparation, faith that is required. Nothing else is required. So I know I have been receiving a lot of calls that ma'am nahi padha ja raha hai, notification aa gaya hai, pressure बढ़ रहा है. Absolutely no issues. हो जाता है, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. बस कोशिश यही करो कि वो ज़्यादा prolong नहीं हो. If for a day or two you're not able to study, just close your books. Just don't study. अब तो खैर कोविड वापस बढ़ रहा है, तो मैं ये भी नहीं कह सकती कि बाहर जाओ घूम आओ कहीं पर, बट टेक अ ब्रेक. टॉक टू योर फ्रेंड्स, टॉक टू योर पेरेंट्स, जस्ट एंजॉय, वॉच मूवीज, नेटफ्लिक्स देख लो थोड़े दिन, 1-2 दिन थोड़ा रिलैक्स कर लो, चिल कर लो, ठीक है, लेकिन टेंशन नहीं लेनी है. एंड ओके मैम, प्लीज डिक्टेट व्हाइल राइटिंग ऑन द बोर्ड. फाइन, आई विल डू दैट. So many a times it happens. Why am I saying this? I came for the class because I thought that initial 5 minutes I will talk about this. Let's see, there are a lot of issues right now. The thing is that prelims ka bhi pressure hai. I'm sure many of you would have been preparing for your optional also. And then we have also started with very main specific topics, right? And ethics is no easy, because you've been preparing for the first time. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है कि ethics में कोई rocket science है, नहीं नहीं. But the thing is that we are preparing it for the first time, तो थोड़ा सा pressure create हो जाता है कि समझ नहीं आ रहा answer writing कैसे करें. Whatever I'm teaching, maybe एकदम वो clear नहीं दिख रहा है कि इससे answers कैसे हो जाएंगे. That is what I'm trying to tell you here. You don't need to worry. Let us just finish with ethics. I told you na, in the beginning only, in 1-2 classes you will not get a hang of it also. You just focus on what is being taught in the class. You get it step by step and you will sail through, right? So just focus whatever is being taught in the class. Just focus that whatever is being taught, are you able to comprehend that or not? How will you use it? That is secondary. That we'll discuss later, how we are supposed to use it, how we are supposed to answer the questions. And that is why I told you also, there are a lot of questions. I think some 4-5 questions of previous year we did mention in the previous 2 lectures, right? We have talked about difference between values and ethics. We did talk about that how professional competence is equally important as far as ethical concerns are there. So these are few things, or what is the difference between law and ethics, and I have given you the content, I've given you the answer. All you need to do is write down that answer on a paper. Just to, and क्यों हमने इतने simple level से start किया? Just to give you that confidence that you can also answer these questions. Patriotism wala question. All you need to do is define patriotism and write about your interpretation of patriotism. And I even told you the answer also. Mention about fundamental duties. Why are we starting with this simple level of question which has been asked in UPSC? Just to give you the sense of confidence. But even then, if you are not getting confidence, absolutely no issues. Because see, every weekend we are meeting. ऐसा तो हो नहीं रहा है कि हम रोज ethics पढ़ रहे हैं. हम सिर्फ weekends पे ethics पढ़ रहे हैं, right? तो सिर्फ 2 दिन focus करो. जितना क्लास में पढ़ाया जा रहा है उतना समझने की कोशिश करो, and rest everything can be kept on a side. Because I know there's a lot of pressure on you, because you will be writing your prelims for the very first time, और वो psychologically चलता रहता है कि अगर prelims clear नहीं हुआ तो mains लिखने का मौका कैसे मिलेगा. ये आपके साथ नहीं है, हमारे साथ भी था जब हम पहला अटेम्प्ट लिख रहे थे, ठीक है. तो ये बहुत नॉर्मल थॉट प्रोसेस है. एंड एक्चुअली आई विल ऑल्सो से दैट मार्च आ गया है, मिड मार्च आ गया है. सो नाउ इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू स्टार्ट फोकसिंग ऑन योर प्रीलिम्स, बिकॉज पहला अटेम्प्ट है, थोड़ा जिटरीनेस होती है, ठीक है. बट ऑल आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज दैट डोंट लूज कॉन्फिडेंस. एंड अगर आपको लग रहा है कि फोकस नहीं आ पा रहा है तो कोशिश करो फोकस लाने की, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ इट क्या होता है, मोस्ट ऑफ अस विल एंड अप सेइंग चलो इस बार तैयारी अच्छी नहीं है, नेक्स्ट ईयर देंगे. ट्रस्ट मी, वो नेक्स्ट ईयर कभी आता ही नहीं है. द फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट इज योर बेस्ट अटेम्प्ट. Trust me, sometimes limited knowledge is like blessing in disguise. So you'll understand whatever I'm saying today later when you're going to experience the paper right in front of you. So don't lose focus. Try to concentrate. 1 odd, 2 odd days here and there is absolutely no issues. Don't ever have a guilt. Don't contemplate क्या नहीं किया है, contemplate क्या किया जा सकता है. ठीक है, जो चीजें बीत गई, जो समय चला गया, उसके लिए बिल्कुल परेशान मत हो, क्योंकि वो समय तो वैसे भी नहीं आना. So whatever time that has already gone, you should not crib over it. Okay, because that time is never going to come again. You should try to judicially utilize whatever time you have been left over with. Is that very clear? Is it making sense? Okay, chalo. We'll start on this note. And so the last thing that we were doing was socialization. Okay. So socialization, when we did talk about what is the concept of socialization, we did talk about the different methods of socialization, right? And trust me, every now and then I'll be telling you about a friend of mine who cleared this examination in the very first attempt. थोड़ा मैंने आपको एक दो सोसाइटी के लेक्चर्स में बताया था, और अब मैं आपको कभी कभी बताती रहूंगी, and you will realize that with average academic background, with average preparation also, you can clear this exam. Just having right kind of approach, discipline and consistency. I have this friend who is currently in services, and she cleared the exam in the very first attempt. She was a very average student, yet she managed to clear this exam. Why? Because her approach was very correct. She knew what is the demand of UPSC. I was hovering here and there. I wanted to read every possible book. I wanted to learn every possible concept. Graduation में होता था ना, हर चीज करके जाओ. I wanted to revise one thing over and over and over again without even realizing this is a competitive exam. It cannot happen that ways. And she was very focused. This is what kind of questions UPSC asks, and this is how I'm going to prepare. She never used to read every possible book in the market. Never, never. She was very clear. Current affairs का weightage है, मैं current affairs करूंगी. Optional मुझे करना है because that will help me sail through. Essay I have to nail. She knew it there and then कि what is she supposed to do. And she was very consistent. She used to hardly study for 5-6 hours every day. That's it. Nothing beyond that. मैं पढ़ती थी 12-13 घंटे. क्या हुआ? कुछ नहीं हुआ. 3 अटेम्प्ट के बाद भी नहीं क्लियर हुआ. ठीक है. सो द पॉइंट हियर इज शी वाज वेरी, और मैं हमेशा सोचती थी यार बताओ 5-6 घंटे पढ़ती है, क्या इसका सिलेक्शन होगा. शी इज नॉट सीरियस अबाउट द एग्जाम ओनली. I used to keep telling her that. First attempt she cleared it, and she knew she is clearing it. ऐसा भी नहीं था कि फ्लूक में हो गया हो. प्रीलिम्स देने के बाद she was having the clarity कि मेंस लिख रही है. मेंस देने के बाद she was very sure. The day we ended up with our last mains exam, she was like, Smriti, let's start preparing for the interview because I think I'm getting the call. I was not confident, and which resulted I did not get the call. She got the call. So are you understanding what I'm trying to say? So just don't lose hope and just be consistent and just study. And she used to watch all the movies. She used to hang around with friends, and she used to party. She used to attend the marriages, everything. और मैंने अपने आप को socially isolate करके मैं पढ़ाई किया करती थी. नहीं अब बस कुछ नहीं करना, ये 1.5 साल सिर्फ पढ़ाई करनी है. क्या हो गया? कुछ नहीं होता है. चिल करो, enjoy करो. ठीक है, चलो अब नो मोर इधर उधर का बात. लेट्स स्टार्ट. So socialization, we have discussed what is the concept of socialization, what are the methods of socialization. Today we have to start with what are the agencies of socialization. The first agency of socialization that we are going to take up is family. Is that clear? Right? Now you need to understand, we have already talked about that how family performs a function that is primary socialization. We'll slightly go into detail because there can be a specific question on that, right? Now family is an informal source of socialization. Family is an informal source of socialization. Now socialization word is clear. Induction of the child into society's culture is known as socialization. Family is an informal source of socialization. The family members, parents, they basically act as role models for the children. So the family members, parents, they act as a role model. The children have a tendency to model their behavior around them. So the children have a tendency to model their behavior around the behavior of the parents. Is that clear? So family is an informal source of socialization. Parents and family members, they act as a role model. What I mean by role model is that the children are modeling their behavior around parents or the family members. Family plays a very significant role in value consensus. If you remember the last lecture, I said for any society to survive, there has to be stability, there has to be order, there has to be cohesion, if you remember that. I said for any society to survive, the society needs to have stability, it needs to have order. And for that, one of the prerequisite is value consensus. We have already done that, if you remember. So अगर किसी भी society को survive करना है, for sure है, the society needs to be stable. There has to be a social order. There has to be cohesion in the society. And in order to ensure these things, one of the precondition is there has to be value consensus. And which agency helps in ensuring value consensus? One of the agency is family. And how family ensures value consensus? By socializing the children in their formative years with respect to the societal values. So how family ensures value consensus? By socializing the children in their formative years. Formative means early years. In their formative years with respect to societal values. So whatever values are there in the society, they socialize the children in their formative years, that is primary, early year, with respect to the societal values. Is that clear? Are you writing? Are you writing these things? I hope you are understanding. When I write on the board, that means I'm not going to dictate. So you have to keep writing these things. It's an informal source of socialization. Family members, parents are acting as a role model. Family plays an important role in ensuring value consensus. How it does that? By socializing the children in their formative years with respect to societal values, right? Now, how it helps the children? Do you realize that when I am socializing you accordance to the value which is existing in the society, that means the children learn to conform to the societal norms, and hence they are integrated in the society. Is that clear? So family in their formative years, they socialize the children with respect to the societal values. Now I have told you, I have socialized you with respect to the values which are existing in the society. Now do you realize that automatically you will start conforming, you will start abiding, following the norms of the society, and if you are doing everything according to the societal norms, automatically you will become integrated in the society or the community. Is that very clear? Is it making sense for everyone? So with respect to this, the stability, order, everything is being ensured by the family. Is it making sense for everyone? Right? There are certain kinds of values which are specifically provided by the family. For example, family provides you the value of love, truth, honesty, compassion, collective orientation. These are the values which are provided by the family to the children. So family provides you the values such as love, truth, honesty, compassion, empathy, right? Collective orientation. So these are the values provided by the family. Now, having said that, I am sure now you have a clarity that value is nothing but the preference. ये तो समझ आ गया ना, अब तो confusion नहीं है ना. I have given you such detailed diagram and flow chart that value denotes your preference. Now tell me, does your preference always remains the same? Preference भी तो change हो सकती है ना, right? ठीक है? Why am I saying this? That did you notice that the structure of the family over the period of time is undergoing a change? Traditionally, we all were joint families. Now we are more and more nuclear families, right? There are different types of families which are emerging. Remember, I gave you those options: live-in, cohabitation, right? Single parent family, right? The concept of household is emerging, right? So the structure of the family is undergoing a change, and with the change in the structure of the family, the preferences are also undergoing a change, right? And if your preferences are changing, that means your value system is also undergoing a change. Did you get the point? इतना rocket science नहीं है, बस connect the dots. आज बिल्कुल आराम से पढ़ेंगे, दोपहर का टाइम है यार, वैसे ही सर दुखता है, ठीक है? तो एकदम आराम से पढ़ो कि you just need to connect the dots. Do you agree to the fact? इसीलिए मैं सोसाइटी के लेक्चर्स पहले लेती हूँ. Family structure is undergoing a change. With the change in the structure of the family, the preferences of the family is also undergoing a change. So if your preferences are changing, definitely the values will also change. Why? Because value is nothing but denoting preferences with respect to desirability, undesirability, good or bad. अब तो definition भी याद है हमें, right? Now see. Let us say we were joint. The structure is undergoing a change. The preferences have changed. So whenever there would be a change in the structure of the family, the value system will also undergo a change, because value system is nothing but denoting the preferences. Is that clear? यहाँ पे there is reciprocal obligation. अब तो ये words याद है ना? रेसिप्रोकल एक दूसरे से, ऑब्लिगेशन एक दूसरे के प्रति. आई एम सॉरी फॉर द हिंदी, जस्ट टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड. रेसिप्रोकल ऑब्लिगेशन, आई एम ओब्लाइज्ड टुवर्ड्स यू, सिमिलरली यू आर ऑल्सो ओब्लाइज्ड टुवर्ड्स मी. सो आर इंटरैक्शन विथ ईच अदर इज गवर्न्ड बाय रेसिप्रोकल ऑब्लिगेशन. रिमेंबर आई टोल्ड यू द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ सेल्फ एलियनेशन. You are acting or interacting with each other according to the expectation. Why? Because there is reciprocal obligation in a joint family. Nuclear family में चक्कर ही खत्म है. Everyone is self-centered. There is too much of individualistic attitude. Is that clear? They are focusing more on competitiveness, material success. Here the emotions are given more primacy. There the material success is given more primacy. प्रेफरेंसेस अलग है, वैल्यू सिस्टम अलग है. तो आप ये नहीं कह सकते हो कि वैल्यूज आर डिग्रेडिंग और इट इज डिमिनिशिंग. नो, इट इज जस्ट चेंजिंग. योर प्रेफरेंस कैन बी वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम माई प्रेफरेंसेस, राइट? सो वी कैन नॉट से द वैल्यू सिस्टम इज डिग्रेडिंग. इट इज अंडरगोइंग अ चेंज विद द चेंज इन योर प्रेफरेंसेस. इज दैट वेरी क्लियर फॉर एवरीवन? इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? क्लियर है? आगे बढ़े. राइट डाउन अ क्वेश्चन. राइट डाउन. In the backdrop of changing structures of family, in the backdrop of changing structures of family, in the backdrop of changing structures of family, briefly discuss its impact on the values of the children. Briefly discuss its impact on the values of the children. Briefly discuss its impact on the values of the children. Ten marker question. Clear है? ठीक है? Now within the socialization by family, there are three things that we have to talk about. One, style of parenting. Role of mother and role of father. This will help you in writing the answer and we'll discuss. ठीक है? नहीं Parth, you need to understand there are two different things. I told you ना relative permanency में when the environment changes drastically, now the environment has changed, it is becoming very difficult to hold on to joint families. Why? Because the opportunities are varying, right? So ऐसा नहीं है कि joint families have totally disintegrated. Some amount of functional jointness is still retained, but largely we are seeing different forms of families. Not only nuclear families, but nuclear family with extended ties. Functional jointness is there, but residential jointness is not there. So definitely the environment has significantly changed, because of which the value system has undergone a change. I told you na, relative permanent, more or less it remains permanent, but then it depends. If the environment has drastically changed, obviously there would be a change in the value system. Is that very clear? ठीक है? Style of parenting, role of mother and role of father. There are three types of parenting. One is autocratic parenting. Second is democratic parenting. And third is permissive parenting. Autocratic parenting is basically, do you realize that this style of parenting is very important, because the style is nothing but it is determining how the parents are behaving or what techniques the parents are using to shape the value system of their children. So how they are ensuring socialization would be determined by the style of parenting that the parents are resorting to. There are three styles of parenting. I'll make you write everything now, but just listen. Autocratic parenting says, I will completely restrict your autonomy. ठीक है? So the parenting style is that completely the parents are restricting the freedom, liberty, autonomy of the children. And not only that, they are forcefully imposing their value system on the children. कुछ याद आ रहा है? This is the most common style of parenting as far as traditional Indian society is concerned. Don't ask, just follow. This is how you have to do. Why are we supposed to behave like this? Why? Because we have been behaving like this since ages. यही सुनने को मिलता है ना पेरेंट्स से, जब हम पूछते हैं ऐसा हम क्यों कर रहे हैं, ऐसा क्यों नहीं कर रहे, राइट? बिकॉज वेन यू सीक अवेयरनेस, जब आप और जैसे यूपीएससी की तैयारी और करोगे और वापस जाके अपने पेरेंट्स को बताओगे कि नहीं नहीं ये गलत है, ये ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए, दो किताबें क्या पढ़ ली तुमने, इतनी बातें आ रही हैं तुमको. दिस इज हाउ पेरेंट्स एक्ट, राइट? बहुत, और ये कोई, दिस इज अ ट्रेडिशनल स्टाइल ऑफ पेरेंटिंग इन इंडिया, दैट वी ट्राई टू इम्पोज आवर वैल्यू सिस्टम on the children. Is that very clear? And we try to restrict the autonomy of the children. तो दो तरह के बच्चे तैयार होते हैं. Either they are totally compliant or they are totally rebellious. Is that clear? On the other hand, there is another form of parenting, that is democratic parenting. Democratic parenting में the power distance, बहुत आराम से सुनो. Democratic parenting means the power distance between the parents and the children is not very much, not very strong, as in whenever children want, they can freely interact with their parents. ये भी नहीं पॉसिबल होता है. इतनी पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटीज हुई हैं, गर्ल्स दे स्टिल हैव द फियर टू इंटरैक्ट विद देयर फादर्स इन मेनी ऑफ द families, traditional families, right? So the point which I'm trying to make here is, in democratic parenting, the power distance between the parents and the children is not very high. As a result, the children can freely interact. So the communication between the parents and the children is two-way. The parents do not impose their value system on the children. The relationship is governed by equality, rationality, mutual trust. You trust your children. अभी तो क्या होता है, पड़ोसी ने आके कहा अरे शर्मा जी आपको पता है आपका लड़का नुक्कड़ पे सिगरेट फूक रहा था, बस आओ देखा न ताओ लगा दिया बेटे को, अरे पूछ तो लो फूक भी रहा था कि नहीं. Are you getting the point? So mutual trust is missing. So democratic parenting says the relationship between the children and the parents is governed by mutual trust, equality and rationality. And even if you want to condition the behavior of your child, you will resort to rewards, not punishment. मतलब अगर तुमने ये नहीं किया तो फिर तुम देखना, that punishment would not be there. But in case you display a desired behavior, then they will reward you. Is that clear? So in that context, the value system inculcated in the child is very positive. They become understanding, they become rational, they become tolerant, they become confident. Is that very clear? ठीक है. But nowadays, there is another style of parenting which is emerging, permissive. और ये आजकल का टाइम है. Indifferent parenting. But see, the simple thing is nowadays both husband and wife are working. Parents have become too ambitious. For them, children no longer are their responsibility. Children have been resorted to becoming a liability. So they are least concerned. Too much freedom is given to the children. And the freedom is given to such an extent that until and unless the physical survival of the child comes under threat, they are not concerned about the child. Totally apathetic to the needs of the child, totally indifferent to the needs of the child, totally unattentive nature towards the child. Until and unless child's physical survival is coming under threat, parents are not giving any attention to the children. This is today's upper class urban parenting which is happening. And that is why, do you realize why in so-called sophisticated niche elite class there have been incidences of juvenile crimes? Just to seek the attention of their parents. Many a time children are resorting to deviant activities. They are either they are getting into drugs or they are getting into any kind of crime, cyber crime, or for that matter even trying to commit suicide. Why? Just to seek the attention of their parents. Because this permissive parenting is a style of parenting that until and unless the physical survival of the child is not coming under threat, the parents are totally indifferent. Do you realize that this kind of value system, what kind of future generation is getting created? That is the problem in the current context. Is that very clear for everyone? Is it making? I don't know. Sharma ji comes very naturally, and I'm sorry if anybody has that Sharma surname, but that comes very naturally. I don't know why. Is that very clear? Autocratic, democratic, permissive? Write down. Style of parenting. Write down. It refers to the behavior, displayed by parents, to discipline their children. It refers to the behavior displayed by parents to discipline their behavior and inculcate values in them. Inculcate values in them. There are three styles of parenting. Authoritarian, democratic and permissive. Authoritarian, democratic and permissive. Authoritarian. They believe in restricting the autonomy of children. Impose their value system on child impose their value system on child, impose their value system on child, full stop. Children are either over compliant or hostile. Children are either over compliant or hostile. Surya, I was not explaining. I was just giving a basic tendency of Indian society, and that doesn't come in English. ठीक है? You tend to remember Sharma ji always in Hindi. That is the only problem, Surya. Anyway, next. Hence the children develop the following values. Hence the children develop following values. Lack of cooperation, comma, compassion, more authoritative, more self-centric, etc. More self-centric, etc. More self-centric, etc. More self-centric, etc. Democratic. They deal with children in rational, issue-based manner. They deal with children in rational, issue-based manner, full stop. Relationship is based on equality, openness. Relationship is based on equality, openness, receptive of feedback, equality, openness, receptive of feedback. Parents exhibit values of tolerance, patience, etc. Parents exhibit values of tolerance, patience, etc. Tolerance, patience, etc. Next, write down. Parents provide positive reinforcement. Parents provide, reward देते हैं. In simple meaning, they reward. So they provide positive reinforcement of display of desired behavior. I'll repeat. Parents provide positive reinforcement of display of desired behavior. If you are displaying the desired behavior, you would be rewarded. That is positive conditioning which is being ensured. So parents provide for positive reinforcement of display of desired behavior. Full stop. It leads to development of following values. It leads to development of following values: objectivity, tolerance, cooperation, empathy, compassion, etc. Objectivity, tolerance, cooperation, empathy, compassion, impartiality, etc. Self-centered means, Devansh, that you are only thinking about your selfish interest. Even if in the process of pursuing the interest you might cause harm to others, but you are ignorant or you are indifferent to that fact. You are only focused on pursuing your own selfish interest without even thinking about that maybe in that process you might end up harming others. So you are inward looking. You are just thinking about your own interest. That is self-centered attitude. Next, permissive parenting. Permissive parenting. They provide their children as much freedom, as is consistent with child's physical survival. Consistent with child's physical survival. It is characterized by apathy. It is characterized by apathy, neglect, indifference, etc. Values inculcated, avoidance, apathy, tendency to identify with antisocial elements. Nowadays, now listen, if the question comes, I think in last class one of the students asked ki how we are supposed to use these things. Okay? So suppose there is a question on juvenile delinquency. There is a question on deviance in general. Deviance means your behavior which goes against the established norms of the society. So any behavior of yours which goes against the established norms of the society is termed as deviant behavior. Why the suicide rates among youth is increasing? Can we say one of the reason is faulty style of parenting? That is, in current scenario, because of the compulsions to maintain a certain standard of living, the style of parenting exhibited by the parents are permissive in nature, because of which there is indifference towards the children, and one of the reasons responsible for their deviant activities. Is that very clear? Is it making sense for everyone? So you have to learn. I have already told you, margin, you have to make a margin. So there you can write that if the question comes on juvenile delinquency, if the question comes on suicide, if the question comes on youth, so this point can be written. Is that clear? Is it making sense? Can we proceed? Then, before I do role of mother, role of father, a general understanding, a myth which exists in the society is that the role of socialization has to be performed by the mother, because mother shares a very close relationship with the children. However, father is only there to perform the public roles, as in to earn money. Socialization is not the responsibility of the father. That's a myth. Father plays a very significant role in socialization, and father resorts to two means. One is observation learning. Now these terms are not new for you. And second is conditioning. So father resorts to these two means. You observe the father and learn the behavior. They deliberately don't even have to teach you something. Father is a very significant role model for many children, right? So father plays a very significant role in socialization. This can be indirect socialization, this can be a direct socialization, conditioning, attaching rewards and punishment. Father also plays a very significant role if I have to do a gender specific. For example, with respect to girl child, a girl learns to make heterosexual adjustment based on the socialization provided by the father, and the boy learns gender appropriate behavior based on the socialization provided by the father. So father's socialization is equally important. Is that very clear? A girl learns to make heterosexual adjustment based on the socialization by father, and a boy learns gender appropriate behavior based on the socialization by father. Is that very clear? Write down. Write down. Father plays an equally important role in the value development of child. Father plays an equally important role in value development of a child through observation, learning and conditioning. Through observation, learning and conditioning. Next. Next point, through identification with father, boys acquire gender appropriate values. Through identification with father, boys acquire gender appropriate values and girls learn to make heterosexual adjustment. Girls learn to make heterosexual adjustments. Girls learn to make heterosexual adjustments. Nahi Prajwal, that is in general the problem of democracy, that it might lead to delay in decision making or indecisiveness. That has nothing to do with democratic parenting, right? And if we have to pinpoint only one of the negative functions, so it can be said, otherwise not. That's not the objective of today's lecture. Then we can say the best way to socialize is democratic parenting, or either of the three might best way for that. नहीं यार, ऑब्वियसली डेमोक्रेटिक पेरेंटिंग। ये पूरी कहानी सुनाई इसलिए है। ऑटोक्रेटिक, टू मच इंडल्जेंस इन योर चाइल्ड्स लाइफ। परमिसिव पेरेंटिंग, टोटली इंडिफरेंस टुवर्ड्स योर चाइल्ड्स लाइफ। देयर हैज टू बी अ मिडिल पाथ, ये तो बुद्धा ने भी कहा था। एनी काइंड ऑफ एक्सट्रीम शुड नॉट बी रिजॉर्टेड टू, देयर हैज टू बी अ मिडिल पाथ। सो डेमोक्रेटिक पेरेंटिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड, राइट? नेक्स्ट, द रोल प्लेड बाय मदर। ये जो तुम लोग पूछते हो ना, फर्स्ट पॉइंट, सेकेंड पॉइंट, प्लीज हेल्प ईच अदर. द रिस्पॉन्स पोर्टल इज फॉर दैट. सो somebody please help with respect to the first point. Next is the role of mother. See, mother-child attachment is very important. I have already told you that father also plays a very significant role in the process of socialization. But having said that, we cannot discount the fact that largely it is the mother who plays a significant role, because she tends to spend more time. That is how Indian society has been characterized, that women is confined to the domestic space. Even if she is working, the caring for the members of the household or performing the domestic activities, she performs a major role. Is that very clear? ठीक है. In fact, this year's economic survey also talks about that. So mother-child attachment is important. There are two types of attachments. One is secure attachment, other is insecure attachment. If the mother-child attachment is secure, when will it be secure? When the mothering is consistent. Matlab the love, the conditioning provided by the mother is consistent. Second, the relationship between mother and child is warm. It is governed by mutual trust, equality. The mother is acting as a rational role model for the child, and unnecessarily she is not making any unreasonable demands. When you the emotional blackmailing and all of that. So do not make unreasonable demands. If this is the scenario, then automatically mother-child attachment would be secure. And if this attachment is secure, it makes the child bold. It makes the child confident. It makes the child courageous. It gives the child the value of self-efficacy. Self-efficacy का मतलब होता है, listen carefully, self-efficacy कहीं लिख सकते हो, write down, self-efficacy. It is defined as one's belief, rough में लिखो, write in the margin, self-efficacy. I'll be using it in the future lectures. Write it down. It is defined as one's belief. It is defined as one's belief in one's own ability. It is defined as one's belief in one's own ability to accomplish a task. One's own ability to accomplish a task. To accomplish a task. Clear है? On the contrary, if the attachment is insecure, and when will this attachment be insecure? If mother is indifferent to the need of the child, if she makes unreasonable demands, or there is overindulgence in the child's life, in such situations the mother-child attachment would be insecure. या तो mother is totally indifferent to the need of the child, or mother is irrational, making unreasonable emotional demands, creating emotional pressure on the child. There is overindulgence in the life of your child. Then the attachment becomes insecure. And if the attachment is insecure, then what kind of values? Obviously, the person himself will become apathetic, or there would be apathy, indifference, lack of fortitude बोल दो या lack of courage. Is that clear? Is that clear for everyone? So insecure attachment would be if there is extreme neglect or there is overindulgence. There is unreasonable demands, indifferent to the need of the child. Is this clear for everyone? Write down a question. If you have written this much, then write a question. Unreasonable demands, yaar, emotional blackmailing. क्या बात कर रहे हो? Don't tell me the parents have never emotionally blackmailed. There are a lot of parents emotional blackmailing करते हैं. So unreasonable demands. एक तो एक set dialogue होता है, बहुत सुना भी होगा कि मतलब I have given you birth, I have kept you in my womb for 9 months. What was the purpose to see this day? You are not even listening to me. You are doing as per your own wish. Emotional blackmailing, unreasonable demand, overindulgence. Anything which is done in extreme is not good. You can care about your child's life. You cannot over-interfere. Overindulgence, right? Unnecessarily indulging. The child should also be given their space. They are also human beings, right? There are different means of giving values. Imposing yourself without giving the rationale behind that would not serve the purpose, right? This is not the right kind of parenting. In fact, abhi hum padhenge teachers ka bhi. When the students ask the question and if you're not able to justify, then they used to spank us कि बाहर जाके खड़े हो जाओ, हाथ ऊपर करके खड़े हो जाओ, don't ask, don't create nuisance in the class. That was very common, but that's not how you should treat others, right? So overindulgences, over-interference in someone's life, even if the person is your child, you cannot do that. उनकी भी तो liberty है, they also have the freedom. Is that clear for everyone? Write down a question. We have a question, ma'am. Can we say democratic and permissive parenting might disturb the social order as if given more freedom, then child may question the social norms? See, permissive parenting definitely is wrong. Democratic parenting is not. We have the right to question, even if there are social norms, and if the social norms are against human rights or they are against law of rationality, then they needs to be questioned. If there are certain social norms which are suppressing the rights of certain sections of the society, they need to be questioned. So democratic parenting definitely will not disturb the social order, Harshit, but permissive parenting is definitely wrong. Why did you bring the child to the world if you were treating or if you're going to treat the child as a liability? You had the choice, na, whether to have the child or not. You, in first place, you should not have the child in case you don't treat them as a responsibility but as a liability. Right, Harshit? So permissive parenting definitely is a threat to social order, but democratic parenting absolutely not. And if you think that certain social norms needs to be questioned, absolutely you have the right to question. But the manner of questioning should not be violent. The manner of questioning should not threat the overall social fabric of the society. That's all. Constructive questioning is absolutely allowed. Is that very clear? Is that very clear? Okay. Can we proceed? Write down a question. Discuss the influence that the parents have, on values of their children. Discuss the influence that parents have on the values of their children. Why is it, full stop, why is it that at times the values of children differ from that of their parents? Values of children differ from that of their parents. Discuss the influence that parents have on the values of their children. Full stop. Why is it that at times the values of children differ from that of their parents? 10 marker question. Can you answer the second part? First part you already know, we have already discussed in the class. Can you answer the second part? Why is it at times the values of children differ from that of their parents? Cultural lag, we'll take that. Very good, Saurabh. In fact, cultural lag ko let us connect generation gap. So obviously there is a time. Absolutely correct, Prajwal. Generation gap, we'll take that. So there is one point is generation gap. The second point, there are different agencies of socialization. Absolutely correct. And family is just one agency but not the only one. Brilliant. There can, बस उसी peer pressure वगैरह सब उसी में आ जाएगा. There can be one more factor that there are new agencies of communication which are emerging. An unfiltered access. By agencies में तो education, religion, peer group, everything is coming. But there are new set of communications which are emerging, new means of communication, right? And there is unfiltered access. So not only the value system of your society is influencing you or the culture is influencing you, even the global culture, the Western values are also influencing or shaping your values. Why? Because there is unrestricted access to different means of communication. That can also be added. Is that clear? Is that clear? And one point can also be there, lack of accuracy with respect to the perception of the value. मैंने तो आपको एक वैल्यू दी, ठीक है, but might be the intention with which I was explaining that value, you did not understand that intention. You took it in some other capacity. So lack of accuracy with respect to perception of the values. Is that clear? For example, it has been said that everything is pre-written. Nothing can be rewritten, right? So now what we can perceive out of it is that आपको ये value system क्यों दिया गया? कि see, everything is pre-written, nothing can be rewritten. So don't take any stress and just put your best. Now this was there to motivate you, right? I'm just giving you an example that in order to motivate you, I'm telling that you don't worry, just put your best, because anyway everything is pre-written, nothing can be rewritten. I was just trying to motivate you. You took it another way. You said, why the need? What is the need to work only when everything is pre-written only and nothing can be rewritten? So maybe if it is already written that I would be selected in the examination, then I will be selected. What is the point in studying? Did you get the point? So it is the intention with which the value is being given. Maybe you have interpreted it in a different manner. Is that clear? So lack of accuracy with respect to the value perception, that can also be one of the reason. Is that very clear? Absolutely. Sometimes interpretation and implementation of the value can also vary. Is it making sense for everyone out there? See, you are giving me answer. तुम लोग कैसे कह रहे हो कि तुमको नहीं आता है and you are not understanding how to answer ethics question? See, you are giving me such brilliant points and I did not even mention that. Still you managed to do it. ठीक है? Will you be able to write communication gap? Absolutely, Ashutosh. We were talking about that point only. ठीक है? Acha, once repeat all the points. Will you help me, guys? Repeat all the points. So we were talking about generation gap. There are different agencies of socialization, right? There is unrestricted access to different means of communication, which is also shaping our values, and there is lack of accuracy with respect to value perception. Is that clear? Is it making sense? ठीक है? आगे बढ़े. Next agency of socialization is education. Next agency of socialization is education. I'll repeat. Education is another source of socialization, agency. The only difference, it's a formal agency of socialization. It helps an individual. It helps an individual in developing cognitive skills. Cognitive skills are nothing but your brain-based skills. For example, your memory. For example, pattern recognition. Right? For example, learning. For example, the speed of information processing. ये सब जो बचपन में, in our childhood we learn these, acquire these cognitive skills, and they have been provided by the education system, as in the schools. Second, the interpersonal and the social skills. Interpersonal and social skills. Interpersonal and social skills is, it helps you understand how one is supposed to interact with others. You should be a good listener. You should maintain a eye contact. How the bodily gestures have to be maintained. All these interpersonal and social skills, you need to smile. You should not hold a grudge or a grumpy face. So all that interpersonal social skills you acquire, you learn at school levels. Is that clear? The school acts as a bridge between the family and the society. And how? It prepares the child for their adult role. In the family setup, remember I told you one of the dysfunction of family is us versus them, because at the family level you are living in your own cocoon. You are living with your own people. But when you step out of the family, you enter the arena of school. You learn to interact with those people who are neither your friend nor your kin. You try to understand people who are different from you. You learn to cooperate with them. You become more tolerant, you become more adaptive, right? So education system acts as a bridge between family and society. It prepares you for your adult role. So it socializes the child with respect to accepting the differences. Obviously we all are different, right? It helps you to learn to cooperate. It makes you more adaptive to the different setups. School is a place where a child learns to interact with those who are neither your friend nor your kin. Is that clear? तुम लोग का अलग ही चल रहा है ना, पढ़ लो थोड़ा. Harshit, we will discuss different agencies of socialization. Every agency giving you a different set of values. That is the problem. We'll discuss that. Let me finish all the agencies. There are different agencies of socialization, right? Your family is giving you a different set of values. Maybe your education system is giving you different set of values. Right? Schools provide us the value of equality, competition, competitiveness, universal brotherhood. क्लियर है? If you've written, can we proceed? Now within education system, there are two things which are important. Let us say three things. Role of teachers, role of curriculum, and extracurricular activities. So within education, yeah, they are socializing. That's a good one. So within education system, there are three things which are important. Role of teacher is very important. Role of curriculum is very important. Extracurricular activities is very important. Now see, if the question on national education policy comes in paper 2 or paper 1 for that matter, the answer would be very specific, right? But what if the question comes in paper 4? It also has to have an ethical tinge to it. Then you will talk about that how the kind of education system now we are trying to talk about under this national education policy, it will ensure better socialization. It will ensure better inculcation of values. It will ensure social cohesion in the society. सुनो, पढ़ा नहीं रही हूँ, सिर्फ बता रही हूँ that if the same question is asked in your ethics paper, you have to make a deliberate conscious effort to give it that ethical touch. And in that process, using these terminologies like socialization, social cohesion, value inculcation, are you getting my point, right? And if the same question would have asked in GS paper 1 or GS paper 2, you will just talk about what is national education policy and you will done away with. Is that very clear? Is it making sense, right? So role of teachers. Remember last time I was telling you that observation learning, and I told you there are different role models that we have. Okay? One of the role model, obviously your parents, your sibling. Okay? Teachers are also the immediate role models for many of the students, right? So how a teacher conduct himself or herself also has a very significant impact on the psyche of the child. Maybe today the impact might not be as strong. Today what I mean is in the later stages of your education. But in your formative years, for many children, they actually look up to their teachers, right? So the right kind of conduct when is displayed, for example, unbiased attitude of the teacher, commitment exhibited by the teacher, timeliness, diligence exhibited by the teacher, hard work exhibited by the teacher, gender neutral attitude exhibited by the teacher, that would have a significant impact on shaping the value system of the children. Is that very clear? In fact, whether the child will have the confidence in their own ability or not is also determined by the role of teachers in the early childhood. I'll give you an example. Do you realize that every individual has a basic human tendency that if you are behaving in a certain manner, we always try to identify that what has been the motive behind that behavior. ये होता है, मतलब consciously or unconsciously you will realize that we have a tendency to attach a motive behind a certain behavior. This is known as self-attribution, right? You are trying to attribute that what might be the reason behind this behavior of yours. Now there can be a positive self-attribution also and negative self-attribution. I hope you are understanding. Okay? I'll dictate everything which is required. Just listen to me. So positive and negative self-attribution matlab whether there is a positive reasoning behind your behavior or a negative reasoning behind your behavior. Okay? So teacher plays a very significant role. A child is curious. He or she wants to know why they are behaving in a certain manner. Now here comes into the picture the role of teacher. Now let us consider there is a student who is sitting at the corner and he is just looking outside the window. And he is just not able to understand why is he not able to focus in the class and he is always looking outside the window. He is curious to know. So out of that curiosity, he approached the teacher and he asked that, ma'am, why is it that I'm not interested in the class and I'm just looking outside the window? And the teacher replied, because you're good for nothing. You are the most useless kid. You are least interested in study. Tomorrow you will not do anything in your life. You will have no job, no money. Your life is totally gone for a dogs. This is what the teacher replied. Obviously, the child was so demotivated, he started believing that maybe I am good for nothing. Maybe my IQ level is less than other. Maybe I am not able to comprehend anything which is being taught in the class. And you won't realize, because if you are the students who are preparing here, that means you are already in a privileged situation. There are many of the students who have gone through this. Whereas on the contrary, if the student asks and the teacher says that maybe, you know why is it so? Because you have extreme sharp mind. You are very curious and inquisitive about the environment. You are very environment loving person. That is why you keep looking outside the window. You are very observant. But listen, if you want to understand what is happening outside, then you have to focus in the class. You will get all the answers to your questions which is coming in your mind by looking outside the window. The child was all happy. I am environment loving person. This is the new thing I've learned about myself. I am very inquisitive. I'm very sharp. I have observation skills, man. So I am not some dumb child. Are you getting the point? This is how self-attribution works. That is why many a times we keep telling you, you guys are so intelligent, your answer writing is so good. There are certain limitations which if work upon, you will clear this exam in the very first attempt. You know why? Because sometimes this psychological motivation can bring all the difference in your effort. So keep telling yourself, if there is no one else to tell you how good you are, keep telling yourself, I can do it, I have the capability, and I can nail this paper, or any stage or any fight in your life, you can sail through it. So if there is some external force to motivate you, good enough. If not, you are enough for your own self. Stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself every day, I will finish my target today, and you will be able to do it. Is that clear? So that is positive self-attribution. Clear hai? Likho. Teachers are great role models. Teachers are great role models. And their action leave a great impact. And मैं बात करूंगी. I will talk. Ayushi, I will definitely talk. Pratmesh, Vishal, class coordinators, why are they not getting marks in the assignment? 2 marks should be given away just because they have made an effort to write the assignment. Right? So make sure, please ask the team to be slightly generous so that they get motivation to write the further assignments. ठीक है? चलो. Happy people, we'll ask the team to give you slight lenient marking so that you get motivation. ऑफलाइन लेक्चर्स जब होते थे ना, तो मैं क्लास में असाइनमेंट चेक कर देती थी. उसका रीजन होता था, मैं थोड़े जेनरोसिटी के साथ मार्क्स दे देती थी, खुद में भी खुशी होती थी बच्चों को. ठीक है? सो नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन ऑफलाइन सेंटर्स विल गेट ओपन, यू कम टू द ऑफलाइन क्लासेस, आई विल पर्सनली चेक योर assignments. Anyway, so right now they are great role models and their actions leave a great impact on children in their impressionable age. And their action will leave great impact on children in their impressionable age. They use observation learning and conditioning. Absolutely, you can give examples of the movies. Yes, you can give examples of the movies. Absolutely. They use observation learning and conditioning. They can influence the behavior. I'll repeat. They are great role models and their actions leave a great impact on the children in their impressionable age. They use observation learning and conditioning. They can influence the behavior of the students first by walking the talk. They can influence the behavior of the children by walking the talk. अब तो याद होना चाहिए, walking the talk. What you preach, you are practicing. Walking the talk. Next. Promoting activity-based learning. Activity-based learning. This is mentioned in your new education policy also. इसको कहते हैं experiential learning. या फिर एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग लिख दो. एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग, एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग, दैट्स द वर्ड रिटन इन योर न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी. एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग. अनबायस्ड ट्रीटमेंट. अनबायस्ड ट्रीटमेंट. Commitment, diligence, timeliness. By showing commitment, diligence, timeliness. Next, can influence self-attribution. Can influence self-attribution through judicious use of positive reinforcement. Through judicious use of positive reinforcement. Through judicious use of positive reinforcement. क्लियर है? ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, रोल ऑफ करिकुलम. Just asking. Curriculum. What do you think, what kind of curriculum we should have, or what is the problem with the current curriculum? Tell me something about that. आप लोगों को response देना है ना. आज बहुत देर हो गई. I haven't asked any response. It's almost half of the class is over. So tell me, what kind of curriculum one should have to have the right kind of impact on the value system of the children? Tushar, it was saying showing commitment, diligence, timeliness, right? And the last point was they can influence self-attribution patterns through judicious use of positive reinforcement. Current curriculum is not practical in life. I'll take that point. Application based curriculum. So can we say there is a difference between text and context? There is a difference between text and context. Whatever you've been taught, it doesn't have a practical application. The curriculum is very obsolete. It is redundant. Practical application. Okay. Can we say, since you've said rote learning and everything, the scheme of evaluation is also very obsolete. It focuses more on rote learning rather than on critical thinking. So the scheme of evaluation, अब ये लिखते जाना प्लीज, नहीं तो बाद में पूछोगे क्या पॉइंट्स थे. There is a difference between text and context, which I mean, as you guys are saying, that practical application of the content is not there. Second is, the scheme of evaluation is also very redundant. It is based on rote learning rather than ability of critical thinking. Clear hai? Third, there is lack of scientific temper in your content. It is more driven by ideological coloration. Gender biasness, caste biasness, racial biasness. So there is, the content is having more ideological coloration. There is lack of scientific temper. There is lack of scientific temper. Absolutely, Anurag. ठीक है? Lack of flexibility with respect to the choice of learning. You've been told what you're supposed to learn rather than being asked what you want to learn. That is the problem in the traditional education system, and all of these problems have been addressed in the new education policy. मैं आपको current से भी link करके इसीलिए बता रही हूँ. All these points have been addressed in your new education policy. They are focusing on vocational training. ठीक है? They are focusing on critical thinking. The examination evaluation pattern would undergo a change. The curriculum structure has been changed. then obviously it would be driven more by scientific temper. There would be more flexibility. Now there would not be any watertight compartmentalization between arts, humanities or sciences, extracurricular, co-curricular. There would not be any kind of watertight compartmentalization. So it would be a holistic learning. We can say lack of holistic or comprehensive learning. Somebody was saying sports. So can we say lack of sports integrated, arts integrated learning. So there is lack of comprehensive holistic learning. What I mean by that is lack of sports integrated, arts integrated learning. Lack of vocational training. Lack of educational content in your mother tongue, in your regional languages. That is also one of the reasons, and specifically with the tribal societies. Why the literacy rate among the tribal communities is so bad is lack of availability of the content in the local languages, right? So lack of elementary education in mother tongue. The content is not in sync with the socio-cultural milieu. It is not taking in consideration the socio-cultural surroundings or the environment. The content has to be specific, or content has to be in sync with the socio-cultural milieu. Absolutely correct, Sanket. Emotional intelligence, mental health, self-defense, nutritional education, कुछ है ही नहीं education system में. So that is what the problem is. Today the basic thing that we should have known, that is emotional intelligence. And when I'll teach you emotional intelligence, I think next to next weekend, you will realize that if we are emotionally intelligent, more than half of our problems are resolved. This world would be a better place to live in. Is that very interdisciplinary? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you getting the point? We've written too many points, right? This is how the answer has to be created. The approach to education is so wrong. In fact, Benjamin Franklin says, you tell me, I'll forget. You teach me, I may remember. You involve me, I will learn. Is that clear? Write down. Benjamin Franklin. Write down. You tell me, I forget. You teach me, I may remember. Yeah, that is what I was saying. Somebody wrote, textbook varies state to state, especially history. That is what I... Socio-cultural milieu, yaar, environment. Lack of vocational training. Benjamin Franklin says, tell me, I'll forget. Teach me, I may remember. Involve me, I will learn. That participative orientation is missing. Engaging orientation is missing. I will come, I will teach, I will leave. I don't care whether you understand or not. That is the attitude of the education system. That needs to undergo a change. Is that very clear? Did you understand how much is the importance of the curriculum? And not only curriculum, extracurricular activities is also equally important. हमारे यहाँ तो एक कहावत चलती है ना, पढ़ोगे, I'm sorry Surya, I'm sorry, but this is the saying in Hindi. I'll explain the meaning in English. पढ़ोगे, लिखोगे, बनोगे नवाब, खेलोगे, कूदोगे, बनोगे खराब. कहते हैं ना, the saying which has persisted in Indian context since ages is, if you will study, you will do well in your life. But if you are playing sports and if you are involved in sports, you cannot have a future. That is what it means, Surya. So Hindi it says that पढ़ोगे, लिखोगे, बनोगे नवाब, खेलोगे, कूदोगे, बनोगे खराब. That is the attitude. And I still remember there was a question in essay topic tha, in your UPSC, 50 gold in Olympics. Can this be a reality for India? Really? Indians doesn't bother about sports. No matter how good you are with sports, the parents will say always, भाई पढ़ाई देखो पहले. अभी किसी ने बोला भी था कि फुटबॉल में यू कैनॉट फुटबॉल कैनॉट गिव यू फूड, राइट? रोनाल्डो के कोच ने, सो टीचर ने. So this is how it works, and this is specifically in Indian context. We know about a sports person only when they have earned the medal, they have won the medal. Uske baad we talk about them. So the actual struggle of their life, when they are struggling to fetch that one opportunity, that one medal, we are never with them. Only when they have won a single medal at any platform, then Indian media starts, hounding them, starts writing about them, approaching them. Then the government also starts giving them money. Are you getting? So we don't have an infrastructure where you create extracurricular activities is very important. Not only that you will build a future or a career, but you learn team spirit. You learn leadership. You learn to cooperate. You learn to share responsibility. Only when. Is that clear? So whether it is responsibility, cooperation, commitment, leadership, tolerance, team building, team spirit, all of that you learn through extracurricular activities. Keep writing these things. Keep writing. Is that clear? Can we proceed? Next, role of religion. Role of religion. Role of religion. Role of religion as an agency of socialization. Just write down. There is nothing to explain, just write down. Religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices. Religion is a unified system. आपने ये सब लिख लिया है ना? Have you written these points? No? Just tell me, have you written? ठीक है, वो एक बार दिखा दीजिएगा ना साइड. Role of religion. Religion is defined as unified system of beliefs and practices. Religion is defined as unified system of beliefs and practices which unites people into one unified system of beliefs and practices which binds people into one single moral community. Religion should not be viewed as a source of conflict. Religion should not be viewed as a source of conflict or a polarizing issue. Religion should not be viewed as a source of conflict or a polarizing issue, but an essential socializing force. Essential socializing force. Full stop. It is primary transmitter. It is primary transmitter of our core personal and societal values. It is primary transmitter of our core personal and societal values. In fact, values enshrined in our constitution, values enshrined in our constitution are fundamental precepts of most of the religion. In fact, what I'm trying to say is that the values which are enshrined in our constitution are the core fundamentals of most of the religion. So values enshrined in our constitution are the fundamental precepts of most of the religion. Equality, tolerance, example, equality, tolerance, universal brotherhood, social justice, etc. Many leaders such as Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, etc. You can give any example. Many leaders such as Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, or any leader that you want to write, they have called upon the religious values, matlab they have referred to religious values to awaken the moral sensibility of the nation, to awaken the moral sensibility of the nation. Moral sensibility of the nation. There is a saying that fear is a mother of morality. By very nature, we might have an instinct of doing something wrong, right? Might, let us say that we want to do, but there is a fear. मम्मी लोग क्या कहते हैं या हमें बचपन में क्या सिखाया गया, झूठ नहीं बोलना, भगवान जी पाप देंगे. आई डोंट नो आपको क्या सिखाया गया, मेरे को तो यही बोला गया था कि वन शुड नॉट लाई, अदरवाइज गॉड विल पनिश यू. So झूठ बोलना पाप है, भगवान जी पाप देंगे. So this is what we have been told, right? So out of that fear that might God punish us, we have started resorting to the fact that one should not lie. So fear is a mother of morality. This is how it works, right? Next. Religion helps individual to cope up with the dysfunctional influences. यही मतलब था. Religion helps individual to cope up with dysfunctional influences. Violence, drugs, negative peer group. There are many dysfunctional influences which are existing around us. So that time religion helps us to cope up with them. It gives you that hope that everything will be right. Do not fall in their trap. Is that clear? Religion is opium of masses, as Marx put it. Right? Likho. Religion is opium of masses. Religion is opium of masses. It provides us the framework. It provides us the framework to manage misery. Provide us the framework to manage misery. Full stop. It provides us the courage. It provides us the courage By teaching us, it provides us the courage. First point I said, it provides us the framework to manage misery. That is why I said that religion is opium of masses. And how is it an opium of masses? It provides you the framework to manage misery. It provides you the guidelines, how you are supposed to manage yourself in a miserable situation. It gives you the courage where you accept your life experiences as something which is predestined by the divinity. Is that clear? There is divine predestination which is happening. Is that clear? Write down. It provides people courage by teaching us to accept life experiences as divinely predestined, How do you pacify yourself? For example, when my third attempt result was out and I did not make it to the final list, how did I pacify myself? By telling myself, भगवान ने मेरे लिए कुछ और सोच रखा है. Right? This is how you pacify. Otherwise, imagine the situation was so distressful. You haven't made it. It's your third attempt. You know, everything is there. Ab kya hoga future mein? What will happen now? And people are questioning. Family members are upset with you. आप लोग कुछ और लाइफ में कितने सारे challenges आते हैं. यहाँ पे क्या आता है? भगवान. तो आप भगवान को मानो या नहीं मानो, whether you are a follower or you are an atheist, that doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is the presence of religion. The religion as such is important in a capacity that it gives you that hope to overcome that crisis in your life. It tells you that if this has not happened, maybe this is not meant for you. There is something better. Is that clear? Is it making sense? ठीक है. Next, it helps you answer many unanswered questions. It helps you answer many unanswered questions. It gives an individual sense of belongingness. आज के टाइम पे थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो गया है. That individual is only tracing their belongingness to the religious groups. We will discuss that later. That this is also a negative force which is acting in the current context where fundamentalism, radicalization which is happening. But anyway, on the prima facie, religion provides the individual a sense of belongingness. It acts as an integrative force. ये जितने भी religious rituals होते हैं, it helps the binding society into one community. So religion has a very positive role in shaping our value system. Is that very clear? So instead of visualizing religion as a polarizing force, it should be seen as a socializing force. It plays a very significant role in social cohesion. It plays a very significant role in keeping crime under check. It plays a very significant role in binding people together, right? So overall, the moral fabric of the society is upheld because of religion. So religion plays a very significant role in shaping our value system. Hence, it is an important agency of socialization. Is that very clear? Likho. Last mein likho. Overall, write down. Overall, religion plays a significant role in social cohesion, keeping the crime under check, social cohesion, keeping the crime under check, upholding the moral fabric of the society, upholding the moral fabric of the society, upholding the moral fabric of the society. ठीक है? Now, generally, I'm giving you a question. Write down. Value education empowers a person. Value education empowers a person to confront the challenges. Value education empowers a person to confront the challenges of contemporary Indian society. Discuss. Value education empowers a person to confront the challenges of contemporary Indian society. Discuss. Contemporary Indian society. Discuss. Value education empowers a person to confront the challenges of contemporary Indian society. Discuss. Clear hai? Write down a quotation which can help you in this answer writing. Aristotle says, educating the mind without educating the heart, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Next. According to Gandhiji, next I'm giving you a quote. According to Gandhiji, literary education is of no value. Literary education is of no value if it is not able, literary education is of no value if it is not able to build a sound character. If it is not able to build a sound character. Literary education is of no value if it is not able to build a sound character. If it is not able to build a sound character. Now very quickly, you have 5 minutes. Tell me the structure of this answer. Tell me the structure of this answer. Tell me the structure of the answer. Anurag, yeah, I saw the question. I'm sorry, I forgot to reply. Yeah, authoritarian parenting is not justified under any circumstances, Anurag, because if you look at it, it says that I'm going to curtail your liberty. Liberty is a basic right which should be given to every individual, right? If I'm talking in a very theoretical manner, right? And second, it says I'm going to impose my value system on you without giving you the rationality why that value system is important for you or not. No. It has to be democratic. No, no Anurag. It has to be democratic parenting. Absolutely, Amit, absolutely. Jyotika, why am I not giving break is because I will leave you early. I have a essay class at 5 o'clock. So anyway, I'm going to leave you early. I'll just finish this topic. Okay? So that is why I'm not giving break. Break हो गया ना 5 मिनट सोचो आंसर क्या लिखोगे ठीक है any one of the quote value education, how value education helps to overcome the challenges in Indian society. Very good Jay. I'll take your point. Anything else? कमलेश वेरी गुड डिफाइन वैल्यू एजुकेशन इनफैक्ट आप लोग एक और तरीके से शुरुआत भी कर सकते हो यू स्टार्ट विद आई टोल्ड यू ना थोड़ा एथिकल टच देना है यू स्टार्ट विद द डेफिनेशन ऑफ वैल्यूज देन हाउ वैल्यूज आर इनकलकेटेड थ्रू अ प्रोसेस ऑफ सोशलाइजेशन one of the agency of socialization is education so education can play a very significant role in providing you values so that is known as value education Then you can talk about that how value education is very important as put forward by Aristotle, that educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Then you can talk about the challenges, as you have already said. What are the challenges which are confronting contemporary Indian society? So whether it is mindless consumerism, whether it is radicalism, whether it is mob lynching, so whether it is intolerance, you can write anything that you want to. And finally, you will give explanation that how these value education can help you overcome those challenges. And finally, while concluding, you can say that it has to be made an integral component of the education system. Aapne more or less, you all have understood. Just one thing, in the beginning, in the introduction, just to give it a slightly theoretical touch, because again this question would have been asked in GS paper 1 or 2 also. So if it has been asked in GS paper 4, slightly to give it a touch or theoretical touch, we'll start with one line definition of value, how it is provided by means of socialization. So education can play a significant role in providing you values like cooperation, tolerance, equality, competitiveness, compassion. Okay? And then you can talk about that how value education is important. It will help you confronting the challenges. So mention very briefly what are the challenges which are confronting and suggest how those value education can help you confronting those challenges. Is that very clear? Okay? And then you can conclude by a quote. Absolutely correct. Yes, you can do that. Social injustice, regional differences, poverty, gender insensitivity, lack of scientific temper. Bilkul. How values shape compassion, tolerance, respect. बिल्कुल सही. Most of you have written. फालतू में कह रहे थे तुम लोग को आंसर लिखना नहीं आता. लिख तो दिया, और क्या लिखना है? See, if you know the structuring of the answer, half of the battle is won. अब बस कहां दिक्कत आएगी? फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द स्टेटमेंट्स. अगर दिक्कत है, इफ देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम, द ओनली प्रॉब्लम वुड बी फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द स्टेटमेंट्स. वो तो विद टाइम, विद प्रैक्टिस यू विल लर्न. You don't need to worry. And trust me, I am not unnecessarily exaggerating. I am very happy to see the kind of performance that you are showing here. The response is such brilliantly you have written the points. This is very good. Fine, political corruption, insensitive. So we have Faraz. Perfect. Crime hai, violence against women hai, caste based discriminations hai. Fine. Ayushi. Fine, Ayushi. Ayushi, since it's a 10 marker, first point can be avoided. How challenges are part and parcel of life. This point can be avoided, Ayushi, because it's a 10 marker. अगर ऐसे टाइप कुछ आ जाएगा, then it is brilliant. But 10 marker है, we will avoid this. Durgesh, absolutely correct. Education as a value, socialization agency, challenges, brilliant. Help in development of adaptation capability influencing democratic. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा और specific कर देना दुर्गेश in the conclusion. Otherwise the structuring is fine. Faraz, very good. I'm impressed. Very good. Education as a public good. तुषार नहीं, ये तुषार idea बुरा नहीं है, but the question is on value education. If the question would have been providing education accessible for all and everything, we could have used education as a public good. Value education में education as a public good का कोई मतलब नहीं है. Absolutely not. ठीक है, तो ये नहीं लिखेंगे. Fine. Radhika, just give the suggestion. How will you give value based education? Incorporating it in the curriculum. Moral science पढ़ाते थे ना स्कूल में. Makes sense. Most of you have written perfect answers. बस अब इसको elaborate करके लिखो, ठीक है? And still you face any problem, let me know. Sanket, very good. You've also mentioned it correctly. ठीक है? So एक आध changes करने हैं. Rest all your answers are perfectly written. Can we proceed now? Next, media as in, चलो 5 मिनट का ब्रेक लेते हैं. I just need to get the board clean. बस एक टॉपिक रह गया है. फिर this topic of socialization would come to an end. Tomorrow say I will start attitude. I'll just very quickly take 5 minutes break. Board clean करवा दीजिए ना. ठीक है? 5 मिनट का ब्रेक भी क्या लेना है? Let me just give you an overview. So socialization, there is a chapter in your syllabus. Today we are finishing the chapter, right? There is just one thing in that chapter which we have not studied, that is role of leaders. Because obviously you cannot teach leaders. So I am giving you a question, that if I ask you a question that who has been the leader which has significantly influenced you in your life and in what capacity? Write a short note on that. Can you do that? Write a short note on the leader who has significantly influenced you in your life and in what capacity. आपको 2-3 लीडर्स तैयार करने हैं जिन्होंने आपको इन्फ्लुएंस किया हो, जिनकी टीचिंग्स ने आपको इन्फ्लुएंस किया हो. दिस एनीवे यू आर स्टडिंग फॉर योर essay paper. So this is one thing, because see, every leader, every individual will have a different set of leader. There might be some who is influenced by APJ Abdul Kalam. Might be some who is influenced by Nelson Mandela. There might be some who is influenced by let us say Mahatma Gandhi or Swami Vivekanand. So you basically have to identify those 2-3 leaders who have influenced you in your life, and which value, which teachings of theirs has influenced you and in what capacity. That is one practice question that you have to do. Apart from that, we have written everything. Okay, so we'll take a break now. We'll take 5 minutes break. Yes, absolutely. We'll take a break. Revolutionary leaders depend करता है यार वेंकट, to what capacity. Controversial नहीं होना चाहिए बस, और तो क्या ही है. ठीक है, क्योंकि revolutionary leaders often they resort to violent means which in certain capacity has not been justified. So let's just refrain ourselves from that. Reformist leader you can, revolutionary slightly questionable. ठीक है, let's take a break now. Let's start very quickly. I'll leave you in some time. Yes, you can write Subhash Chandra Bose. Obviously, you can take religious leaders also. Please avoid film actors, absolutely, because Gautam Buddha, absolutely you can take. Sanket, see, take some standard leaders. APJ Abdul Kalam, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, standard leaders. ठीक है, so you can take those exams. You can at least start from there, because see, at the end of it, what you need to do is write a good answer. It's not about your personal preferences here. It is also about writing a good answer. And with respect to Mahatma Gandhi, there are too many teachings. With respect to APJ Abdul Kalam, there are too many teachings which you can relate to. And you can also look for certain examples from your personal life where those teachings have helped you in resolving any or crisis situation. So that can be the thing. Absolutely. इंदिरा गांधी यह ले सकते हो, विवेकानंद तो ऑब्वियसली ले सकते हो, अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी भी ले सकते हो. इंदिरा गांधी स्लाइटली कंट्रोवर्शियल हो सकता है डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द आइडियोलॉजी ऑफ द पर्सन हु इज करेक्टिंग, बट यार इन द I to totally agree. Indira Gandhi had her own flair and she had exhibited certain good leadership qualities. So I would not deny that. But again, it is totally your choice. How will you incorporate? Yeah, they do. Harshit, yes, they do. ठीक है. Now, चलो अब ये सारी बातें हो गई, अब आगे बढ़ते हैं, नहीं तो तुम लोग शुरू हो जाओगे. We have a doubt here. Smriti, the doubt is too long. But I got the essence what you were trying to ask is that basically what she has asked us is that in the last class we were talking about that same-sex relationship is unethical but it is legal, right? So then she is saying that everyone has their own preferences. For many people in the society, maybe same-sex relationship is not wrong. For many it is wrong. So what she is asking is that isn't it violation of Article 21 for people who was asking for dignified life irrespective of their sexual orientation? Like we have mentioned that ultimate it is the constitutional morality which should prevail. So I got the point that you are trying to ask, and that is what I was saying in the last class also, Smriti. The point here is that we have too many determinants of ethics. Ultimately, we are telling you that it should be constitutional morality which should prevail. राइट आइडियली तो ये सिचुएशन होनी चाहिए, बट एक्चुअली भी ये सिचुएशन नहीं है. दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. अब और किसकी बात करें, यहीं पे लोग कुछ कुछ बात कर रहे हैं कि दे आर नेमिंग द चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ अ सर्टेन स्टेट. ठीक है, दैट द सेम चीफ मिनिस्टर सेड दैट द मेजर प्रॉब्लम ऑफ इंडिया इज इट्स सेक्युलर नेचर. And that is the reason why India is not able to protect and preserve its culture. So the very same chief minister of a certain state has made this point. Right? Now you are into a political powerful situation. So if I'm saying constitutional morality should be upheld, so it holds true for the same person also, na? He should also uphold constitution, and constitution says we are secular. How can you say that the major root cause of India's problem is its secular nature? Are you getting my point? So yes, there is, the problem lies in the fact is that there are too many determinants of ethics. So ultimately it depends that what source of ethics that you are referring to. और यही तो situation है why dissent exists in the society. अगर तो if your ethics is same as mine, is same as everyone else, there would not be any dissent, there would not be any difference of opinion or a conflict. It would be a smooth sailing. But that doesn't happen, because your determinant of ethic can be very different from my determination of ethics. Is that clear? And that forms the basis of difference of opinion on conflict in the society. But conflict is not wrong until and unless we are peacefully resolving the conflict. Till that time it is absolutely fine. And yes, Ankur, I had seen your problem. We will take that. I'll ask the team to upload it. ठीक है, देखो और कोई since you have specifically mentioned, so Ankur, I will upload the solved answers, but apart from that, rest of the documents which I'm uploading, that would not be allowed. So on the portal, I'll ask them to upload the solved answers. वो वाले documents I will get it uploaded, but जो या तो related है classroom से, so I will upload it. In case it is not related to the classroom, then I will not be able to upload that. ठीक है? Otherwise, I'll upload this solved answers. I'll ask the team to upload. ठीक है? विशाल, प्रथमेश, just remind me ना. अभी मैं आपको भेज दूंगी, आप upload करवा देना. ठीक है? Okay, Ankur, we are done with it. Cool? ठीक? Can we proceed? Chalo, let's quickly start. We are just left with one thing. Media as an agency of socialization. Smriti, you need to tell me, did you understand? Is the question resolved? Ethics is subjective. See, I said that as compared to morality, it is slightly objective. Why? Because it is upheld by the society at large. But the problem in India is we are not one single society. We are amalgamation of multiple societies. So every society is having, in its own capacity, their own set of ethics. That is one problem. And second problem is every individual, despite having certain societal ethics, we can have altogether different source of ethics. Is that clear? So there will always be a situation of conflict. It depends how we are resolving that conflict. So that is why it was said that whenever there would be a conflict, it would be constitutional morality that will be upheld. But then it all depends upon the political leadership. They are not ready to uphold constitutional morality. What can you and me do about it? But ultimately it should be ideally. फिर तो constitution का purpose ही क्या है? If the constitution is not upheld, then what is the purpose of the constitution? ठीक है? Media is a channel of communication. Here we are not only restricting ourselves to social media. We are in general talking about all the manifestations of media, whether it is your newspaper, magazine, television, radio, social media. So in totality, media is a channel of communication. ठीक है? And this media plays a very significant role in shaping our value system. It provides us the topic for deliberation, discussion. It influences our aspirations. Matlab, what you want to do in life, what you want to achieve in life, it is also shaped by media. It also shapes our behavior or our attitude through vicarious reinforcement. What I mean by vicarious reinforcement is that, I think I have told this before also. Vicarious reinforcement is, we have a tendency, if we see someone getting rewarded for an act, then there is a very strong tendency or probability to imitate that behavior. So media, if it is glorifying positive, courageous people, if it is rewarding courageous acts, then automatically, due to vicarious reinforcement, we have strong tendencies to imitate their behavior. Lekin media kya karti hai? They are glorifying sycophants. So that is the problem in the society. So media is a very important agency of socialization. Till here it is clear. I'll repeat, it's a channel of communication. It shapes our value system. It provides us topics for discussion, debate. It influences our aspiration. It shapes our behavior, attitude through vicarious reinforcements. Is that clear? Media acts as a tool for social management, social diffusion, and social change. It acts as a tool. I'll explain everything. Social management, social diffusion, and social change. Just one disclaimer, in today's essay class also, there are two main topics of discussion. One is health and other is media. Media we'll take in detail in the essay class. Here I am restricting to the topic of media in the capacity of value, inculcation or socialization. That's it. And we will learn how the essay preparation is slightly different from the ethics preparation. So it acts as a tool for social management, social diffusion, and social change. Social management says that media plays a significant role in maintaining status quo. It helps the elites in society to maintain their hegemony. ये एक रोल है मीडिया का, यही तो मीडिया कर रही है. Now today's time, do you understand the term corporatization of media? Right? There are corporate houses who are owning media today. There are political parties who are giving large-scale advertisements to media houses today. Now, if they want to survive in this world of 24/7, do you know that the financial viability will only be there if they are getting funds? And the funds are provided by two agencies. One is the corporate house, other is the political parties. Now, do you think that they will be able to raise their voice against these two people? Obviously not. None of the media houses will show you the reality. Why? Because their survival, their financial viability depends upon the money which is provided by these two people. One is the corporate houses and other is the political party. So now what you get to see is the efforts, the manufactured news, the fake news which is being provided by the media houses. And why they are doing that? So as to maintain the hegemony of the elite section in the society. Network 18 is owned by Ambani. Everyone knows that. Will they show anything which goes against Reliance? Out of 10 media houses, in 8 of the media houses, it is the money of Reliance which is being invested. Will they ever say anything about those? There are a certain political party who has provided every month, the crores of rupees have been provided to these media houses. Will they show anything against the political party? Absolutely not. So they are playing a role of maintaining the status quo. How? By maintaining the hegemony of the elite section. And this is how they are shaping our value system and we are not even realizing. Is this clear? Social management. नेक्स्ट इज सोशल डिफ्यूजन. ऐसा नहीं है यार कि सिर्फ स्टेटस को मेंटेन होता है. सोशल डिफ्यूजन का मतलब होता है डिफ्यूजिंग, डिसेमिनेटिंग द आइडियाज. नाउ वेदर दोज आइडियाज आर पॉजिटिव आइडियाज और दे आर मैन्युफैक्चर्ड आइडियाज, दैट डजंट मैटर, बट वन फैक्ट इज मीडिया एक्ट्स एज अ टूल फॉर डिफ्यूजन ऑफ द आइडियाज, बिलीव्स, वैल्यू सिस्टम. इज दैट वेरी क्लियर? ठीक है. एंड वंस दोज आइडियाज, वैल्यूज, बिलीफ सिस्टम्स गेट्स डिसेमिनेटेड एट अ लार्जर सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसाइटी, इट क्रिएट्स ग्राउंड फॉर सोशल चेंज. इज दैट क्लियर? सोशल डिफ्यूजन. सोशल मैनेजमेंट लिखा, ये 3 पॉइंट्स लिखो, राइट डाउन. मीडिया plays a significant role in maintaining status quo in the society. Media plays a significant role in maintaining status quo in the society due to corporatization and politicization of media. Corporatization or politicization of media. Second, media is also a process or a means, media is also a means through which the values, ideas and concepts get spread to the large section. Ideas, concepts get spread to the large section. Which creates ground for social change in the society. Which creates ground for social change in the society. Which creates ground for social change in the society. Clear hai? You have 5 minutes. Divide your sheet into 2 parts. Give me positive impact of media and negative impact of media. Positive impact of media and negative impact of media. 5 minutes. Very quickly. Positive and negative impact of media. Total, in all. I'm not specifically talking about a particular media. I'm in generally asking. Positive and negative impact of media. See, there is no harm. Abhyuday, I'm answering yours. There is no harm in owning any house. Ab Jeff Bezos has also invested money in Washington Post, right? So that doesn't mean that it would not write anything which is going against Jeff Bezos' commercial interest. Washington Post has always been democratic and it will work or operate in the same capacity. It talks about your media ethics. It talks about your personal morality. That is under question. Jeff Bezos ने भी तो invest किया है Washington Post में. Are you getting the point? ठीक है? Give me the points. Media ethics needs to be upheld. Press Council of India needs to be made robust. National Broadcasting Commission has to be empowered. I still remember there was a time when Ayodhya verdict was out. National Broadcasting Commission has clearly outlined that what are the guidelines which needs to be followed by all the media houses with respect to Ayodhya verdict. None of the media houses have adhered to those guidelines. They have openly glorified a particular religious ideology in the background of Ayodhya verdict. Then what is the point of having a National Broadcasting Association? What is the point of having a Press Council of India? That is what is the problem. Is that clear? Okay? Somebody was asking for a solution. Okay. It makes people aware. अच्छे points दो, और points दो. Social unrest due to false propaganda. Awareness, paid news, media trial, commercialization, sensationalization of the news. Okay, ठीक है, fine, fine. Awareness, ठीक है, fine. Politicization, ठीक है. चलो, very quickly. Divide your sheet in two parts. Very quickly. Positive impact. Infotainment. Infotainment. Positive impact. Infotainment. Information plus entertainment. Promotes scientific temper. Positive impact of media. Infotainment. Promotes scientific temper. Promotes gender social awareness. Gender social awareness. It's a fourth pillar of democracy. It's a fourth pillar of democracy. Next point. It upholds accountability, responsibility, of the political leadership. It generates awareness, rationality. People are more exposed to diversity. People are more exposed to diversity. It performs an educative role. It promotes, or people become more exposed to diversity. It promotes educative role. Bharat Ek Khoj, if you remember. It provides voice to the stakeholders. It provides voice to the stakeholder. It brings the issues concerning people to the notice of the government, or let us, don't write this point, let us write it as, it acts as a linking pin between the government and the citizens. Let's put it this way. It acts as a linking pin between the government and the citizens. It creates acceptability for government policy programs among the people. It creates acceptability for the government programs among the people. It helps in destruction of stereotypes and prejudices. It helps in destruction of stereotypes and prejudices. Very good point, Nitin. It provides space for creative expression. It provides space for creative expression, specifically social media. It provides platform for deliberation, discussion. It provides platform for deliberation, discussion. ब्रैकेट में लिख लेना सोशल मीडिया. क्लियर है? It strengthens democracy by creating an army of, it strengthens democracy by creating an army of informed and active citizenry. Informed and active citizenry. Informed and active citizenry. Clear hai? Obviously, we have discussed, Pawan, this point. Constructive criticism, we have discussed this point. Overall, negative aspects. Commodification, negative points likho. Commodification, consumerism, relative deprivation, promotion of prejudices, promotion of prejudices, fake news, manufactured news, creating scope for social conflicts, creating scope for social conflicts, radicalization, intolerance, etc. etc. Is that very clear for everyone? Now, I am giving you a question for your home assignment. We'll discuss this question tomorrow in detail. Write down a question. Write down a question. With proliferation of social media, people have got the opportunity. With proliferation of social media, people have got the opportunity. Relative deprivation, Devendra. With proliferation of social media, people have got the opportunity to express their views anonymously and more freely. To express their views anonymously and more freely. Full stop. What according to you is its effect? What according to you is its effect on social and political culture of the country? What according to you is its effect on social and political culture of the country? Social and political culture of the country. 10 marker. Try attempting this question. This is very specific to social media in the capacity of anonymity and free expression. Okay? So in that capacity, the question has to be answered. Just for your reference, social culture means the beliefs, the value systems which are existing in the society. Okay? Ideas, ideology, beliefs, norms, that constitutes the social culture. Whereas what is the political culture means, your perception about the political system of the society constitutes the political culture. According to you, whether it is top down, bottom up, authoritative, democratic, okay, it is open, it is closed, it is participative. So what is your perception about the political system constitutes the political culture of your country. Is that very clear? Okay. Now there's one thing, all positives are so idealistic. Absolutely not, Aryan, absolutely not. When we say that it is an agency of infotainment, that is information, वो तो obvious है, इसमें idealistic क्या है? Information ही तो provide करता है ना media, और information provide करता है. Ideally एक media house का काम होता क्या है? There is a farmer protest which is going on. It is the job of the media to tell us why the farmer protest is going on. What was initially the provisions for the farmers? What is farmers bill? What is the take of farmers on the farmers bill? What is the stand of the government? That's it. That's the job of the media. Media will not tell us that, see, the farmer bill is, the protest is all politically motivated, it is all done by Khalistani people, it is the intervention or incitement by the opposition party. ये काम नहीं है media का. That is not the job of media. Media has to operate on facts. So providing us the information, acting as a linking pin between the government and the masses. That is not the idealistic thing. That is the expected thing. That's the most practical thing. When media tells you that this is the condition of women, this is the आप लोग articles पढ़ते हो? अब उसमें पी साईनाथ, आशीष नंदी या जो भी आप लोग पढ़ते हो, क्रिस्टोफर जेफरले, सुरेंद्र जोटका, these are the people who are writing. Now P. Sainath, he has worked on mass migration. He has given us information about the rural distress of farmer suicide. So he is making you aware about the plight of farmers. Isn't he creating awareness among you? right? If he is doing the good journalism, bringing to you the right information from the ground reality. आपको दिल्ली में बैठ के फार्मर के साथ क्या हो रहा है ये कैसे पता चलेगा? मीडिया के थ्रू. तो can you see how responsible role media has to play? It is creating awareness among us with respect to the amount of farmer suicides which are happening, the rural distress which is going on, the mass migration which is happening. How would I come to know that all of this is happening in India? What is the growth rate? What is the unemployment rate? Where the jobs are not being given? What is the plight of SSC students? Who is going to bring us this information? Who is going to question the government? Who is going to create the acceptance for a good government policy among the people? Media. That's the role of the media. Who educate us about the culture of India? Who tells us that how India is diverse? There are diversity with respect to Northeastern culture or South Indian culture or North Indian culture. Within North India, there is so much of diversity. Who tells us? Which is the platform? Media. And media doesn't only means what you see in the newspaper. There are a lot of other channels of media. Television is there. Radio is there. Radio plays such a significant role in educative role. So social media, right? So this is the job, and none of these things are idealist. This is the most practical expectation from a media house. That is the role which media has to perform. Otherwise, why they take privilege in saying we are the fourth pillar of democracy if you cannot uphold democratic sentiments in the society? That is what the point is. Is that clear? But in the current situation, media has forgotten the role for which it was meant to be. Is that very clear? Is it making sense for everyone? This is just to tell you that none of these positives are idealists. This is most practical expectations that we have from media. The irony is now these expectations feel so unreal given the current nature of media that we are thinking that these positives are idealist and not the realist thing. Is that clear? So on this note, we are concluding the lecture. Reason being, at 5 o'clock I have essay class. So if any of you are coming for the essay classes, so essay mein we will discuss in detail about media, we'll discuss in detail about health, and in case the time permits, then we will take panchayat also, that how Panchayati Raj institution, in general how such topics can be addressed. With that, today would be the last lecture on essay class, and if time permits, after prelims, वैसे तो जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी because I think 5 टेस्ट हैं, तो उसमें भी डिस्कशन में बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स डिस्कस हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, सो वी विल मीट इन द इवनिंग क्लास नाउ. सो ऑन दिस नोट वी विल, अच्छा पीयर ग्रुप कल कंटिन्यू करते हैं. मानसी, थैंक यू फॉर रिमाइंडिंग. अभी एक टॉपिक है पीयर ग्रुप, वो हम कल लेते हैं. Absolutely, absolutely. Trial by media, Anurag. Absolutely. You can write one of the negatives. How it is impacting our value system. Trial by media. Arushi Talwar case. Absolutely correct. ठीक है? So, is this clear for everyone? चलो, on this note, we will conclude and we will meet next. कल ही तो क्लास है. We'll meet tomorrow. So just try to attempt the questions which I have given in the class today, and any doubt we'll discuss the doubts tomorrow. ठीक है? चलो कल मिलते हैं और कल आराम से बात करेंगे इस बारे में. Tomorrow I am starting with attitude. ठीक है? I'll hardly take a half an hour to finish the leftover portion of this topic, and I'll start with attitude tomorrow. Attitude I'll be requiring, I think, approximately 3 lectures. So tomorrow and next weekend attitude would be over, and after that 1 class for emotional intelligence.